Buenos días, estudiantes. Eh, Vamos a hacer una lección acerca del tiempo transcurrido. En inglés se llama elapsed time. Pero vamos a usar para esto Imagine Math. De esa manera, pues voy a compartir con ustedes la pantalla para que ustedes hagan las lecciones en casa. Quiero que, por favor, vayan a Imagine Math y hagan su práctica de esos problemas, de esas lecciones ahí y los pasen. Si no, de cualquier manera, esos problemas los pueden copiar en papel y hacer estrategias y seguir trabajando en ellos. Si tienen problemas de conectividad o alguna cuestión adicional, no importa. Yo los veo aquí en Teams usando su teléfono celular o su tableta o su computadora. Pero si no, pueden ustedes trabajar en los ejercicios que tenemos en los libros de GOMAT y me pueden mandar sus respuestas por computadora. Ya saben que somos flexibles, pero es importante que sigan trabajando y haciendo las cosas que estamos haciendo, porque se supone que deberíamos estar trabajando 7 horas y no estamos haciéndolo así, estamos trabajando mucho menos. Pero sí tienen que estar ocupados. Recuerden, su obligación, su responsabilidad como estudiantes es seguir aprendiendo todos los días. Bueno, pues vamos a ver entonces lo que vamos a compartir para seguir discutiendo eso. Y lo vamos a hacer en inglés porque el programa viene en inglés, pero voy a hacer ahí algunos apoyos en español para las respuestas. Entonces, bueno, síganme. Bienvenidos el día de hoy. Ahí está. Bueno, y voy a estar aquí en la orillita, espero no molestarlos. Me voy a poner en un lugar donde no moleste yo mucho. Voy a estar aquí con ustedes. Le voy a poner aquí abajito. Creo que no molesto. Y vamos a hablar pues de la lección. Bueno, el objetivo de esta lección obviamente es aprender a sumar y a sustraer el tiempo. Y bueno, tenemos varios métodos. Hemos hablado de esto ya muchas veces. Hemos hablado de que podemos hacer una recta numérica para contar el tiempo en intervalos. Podemos usar la carátula de un reloj y podemos típicamente, ya sea suma o resta de tiempo, como una suma común, pero al reagrupar tenemos que tomar en cuenta que los segundos se convierten en minutos y los minutos se reagrupan en horas. Entonces es importante eso, porque a veces tenemos que reagrupar y convertir los minutos a horas. Pues entonces tenemos que recordar que 60 segundos hacen un minuto y 60 minutos hacen una hora. Y finalmente, que todo esto se puede hacer con operaciones lógicas de suma y resta. Bueno, empecemos. Today's lesson is about adding and subtracting time. And here we're going to see some problems that we need to solve. This is a first equation, or I'm sorry, a first degree equation where we know some of the elements of the operation, we know the total of minutes, and we know parts of the problem, but we don't know a certain bit of information. That bit of information is a mystery, is an incognito. Well, let's start. Tyrone spends 65 minutes outside. The table shows his activities. How much time did Tyrone spend gardening? Well, this is the question. How much time did Tyrone spend gardening? But then we have the data that we need to use. The first bit of information is that the total amount of minutes was 65 minutes. A little bit more, a little bit proud of 1 hour because it's 60 minutes is an hour and 65 minutes is 1 hour and 5 minutes. So keep that in mind. Well, the activities are here. This table shows the data pieces that we need to solve the incognita, the mystery. Activities, riding his bike. He spent 25 minutes. Tyrone spent 25 minutes riding his bike. And then Tyrone spent walking the dog 25 more minutes. So if we add this up, we need to add this up, these bits of information to consolidate the data that we have so we can subtract it from the total minutes that he spent outside. So we're going to do that. 25 minutes plus 25 minutes. Remember the dollar system. We have 1 quarter plus 1 quarter. We have 50 cents or half dollar. That will help you to remember that 25 plus 25 is 50. Now we have 50 and we need to arrive to 65. how much more we need to go forward. Well, 50 to 65 is just 15. 5 plus 5 plus 5. So 50 plus 15 minutes will yield a total of 65 minutes. So now we can solve the problem, and we can say for certain that gardening took only 15 more minutes, because 25 plus 25 is 50 plus 15 minutes will yield 65 minutes in total. So we did one addition and then one subtraction. And the answer needs to be, of course, this one right here. Let's read it.
15 minutes.
15 minutes. And in Spanish,
15 minutos.
There you have it. 15 minutes or 15 minutos. Well, we have the answer. Now we check if we're right, we did it right, or we did it wrong. Let's see. Yes. Then we can back 25 minutes to our bag of points. And then we need to go and move to do another exercise to see if we understand these kind of problems. Okay, let's move on to the next one. All right, well, we have a similar problem. It's almost the same mechanic. It's a first degree equation. We have one mystery that we need to solve. Well, Hug made a cake. He spent 30 minutes mixing, 55 minutes baking it, and then 20 minutes decorating it. How much time did Hug spend making the cake? Well, again, we need to add what we know and then subtract it from the total amount of minutes. But in this case, we don't have the total amount of minutes. We just know that he spent 30 minutes mixing, 55 minutes baking, and 20 minutes decorating. So actually, all we need to do is to add 30 minutes plus 55 plus 20. And then, of course, we can use our community property to change the add-ins to an easy way to add them up, so it's more convenient for you. And in my case, I will add 30 minutes plus 20, that will be 50. And then I will take the other 55, and then I'll do a little bit of trickery. I will remove the 5 minutes here, and I will say, oh, I have 50 here, plus 30 plus 20, that's 50. So 50 and 50, that's 100. And then the 5 minutes that I kept away, I'm gonna put them together now. And I have 105 minutes. 105 minutes, which is the answer here. Actually, it would be better to say that you have there 1 hour, that's 60 minutes, plus 45 minutes. But this answer is also valid, 105 minutes, 105 minutes. And that, in other words, could be 1 hour and 45 minutes. Either way, you have the correct answer if you answer this. Okay, there, let's hear it. 105 minutos. And in English, of course, we have 105 minutes. Okay, thank you. Well, let's check if we are right, if we did right, if we solved the mystery. And the mystery was the total minutes that Hug spent making the cake. And indeed, we are correct. You are correct. You follow me and you did it as well with me, or you learned the addition by yourself and you solved it by yourself. Well, you got the right answer. Okay, kudos to you. Props to you. All right, let's move on to the next one. Okay, this is one of the interesting ones. I told you that one way is to add the numbers. Another way is to use the phases of the clock. Another way is to use a numeric line, a number line, to count jumps or intervals of time, little by little, to get where you end up. Well, in this case, let's read the problem and see what is it about and how we can solve it. Well, it says that a runner crossed the finish line at the time shown on the clock. So that's the first bit of information, and it refers us to the clock. And we have the clock face here and the hands of the clock. And remember that the small one is to point to the hours. And because it's between 2 and 3, it's not yet 3, but 2, because it's in between 2 and 3. So it hasn't arrived to 3, but it's still between 2 and 3. So therefore, it's 2. 2, but it's not 2 of the clock because it has some minutes shown by the long hand of the clock, which is the one that counts the minutes. So let's count the minutes. We'll start here on 12, which is also 0. And then we count 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, and 45. So the hour when he finished the run, he finished the race, it's 2:45. And then it says here that the runner's time was 2 hours and 45 minutes. So we need to go back to the past to find out the question here. What time did the race begin? Well, we need to go back in time, sort of speak, to show what time the runner started race. Well, this is going to be easy. Just follow these steps. We have 2, almost 3 right here, right? So let's remove first 2 hours. So if we have 2:45 minus 2 hours, instead of 2 will be 12. I'm sorry, 12. So the race started at 12 probably, but then we need to go back the minutes. We need to remove 45 minutes. Okay, let's do it. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45 minutes. There. So therefore, the handle of the clock when the race started, the minute hand of the clock was at 12, at noon, I'm sorry, at 0 of clock. So if we say that this one was also back 2 hours, actually the race started exactly at 12. Of course, I'm assuming that this was a day race, so it was exactly when the sun is high above, and it's called noon. So it's the answer is 12 o'clock or noontime. So therefore, this should be the answer. Because think about it, from 12, you add 2 more hours and you will have 1, 2. And plus 45 minutes, we will be 2:45. So this needs to be the answer. Okay, let's check it. Let's see we're correct. We're talking about the time the race started. Indeed, that's the right answer. So we're doing fine. Let's keep on working towards the next question. Oh, yeah, but let's call the answer here. 12. And in Spanish, of course, Castilian, 12. Okay, we have the answer. Let's move on to the next question. This is the 4 out of 7 questions that we have to discuss this topic. And this one that has 2 clock faces. So it will help us to see when an event started and when that event ended. Let's read the problem. The clocks show when Destiny's baseball game started and ended. How long did the game last? Okay, so this is a typical case where you need to subtract to find out how long an event lasted. Well, let's start with the starting time. We'll see that the small hand of the clock, the hour hand, is between 11 and 12. So therefore, it's more than 11, but less than 12. So still, we call it 11. but it's not 11 o'clock. In this case, we can see that the minute hand move on till 45. How we know that? Well, we're gonna count 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, and 45. So 3 quarters. 1 quarter here, 1 quarter here, that will be 30 minutes or half an hour, and then 15 minutes here, another quarter, that's 45 minutes. So it started at 11:45, and then it ended up, well, it points, the hand, the hour hand points to 3, and the long hand points to 12. That means o'clock, 3 of the clock, or o'clock. Well, therefore, we need to count forward and find out the answer. We could do a time subtraction too. I've been showing you how to do that, and we'll go back into that probably later on. But at this point, what I want you to see is that in this case, we can use the phases of the clock to count. And that's what we're gonna do. Let's assume that it's almost 12. So let's add 15 minutes here, and it will be 12 o'clock. And then from there, we can count the hours because this is 3 o'clock. So from 12 to 3 o'clock will be 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours. And we need to add these 15 minutes. So it will be 3 hours plus 15 minutes. So that will be our answer. And we have it right here. And also, I want you to reflect that in these kind of problems, it's very useful to see the possible answers, because one of them certainly will be the right answer. And there are answers that make no sense. And like this one, this is a crazy answer because it's just 15 minutes. And obviously, from 11 something till 3 o'clock, it can be 15 minutes. This is an absurd answer. Makes no sense whatsoever. And what about this one? This one speaks about 8 hours and 45 minutes. It's way too much time. This one, it could be, if we don't look carefully, we could say, oh, it was like 4 hours and 50 minutes. But we know that if here is 12 o'clock, and this is almost 12 o'clock, it's 11:45, then from 12 to 3, you have only 3 hours, not 4 hours. So therefore, this needs to be our answer, which in fact is. So let's check our answer. Let's see if we are correct. Indeed, we are. And let's check what the boy says. 3 horas y 15 minutos. Well, in good Castilian, but we can also do it in English. And then we can say it again. Or here it's saying, lovely boys, 3 hours and 15 minutes. There we have it. So as you can see, we can use the phases of the clock. But as I told you many times, there's many ways to get to the result. There are many ways to do things. All right. Let's see question 5 out of 7. And it's almost the same actually. It's elapsed time, and we need to measure from the beginning to the end. The clock show when this movie started and ended. How long did the movie last? Well, we'll have to find out. How long the movie lasts? Well, we don't know, but we'll certainly get to the result of this and provide a solution. And here we see that the small hand is between 11 and 12. So therefore, it's still 11, not 12 yet. And the minutes are pointed by the long hand of the clock, the minute hand of the clock, and it points again to 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45 minutes. So it started at 11:45, and it ended at actually 2, because it's between 2 and 3, the small hand, the hour hand, and the other one is pointing to 3, but we need to count by minutes, right? 5, 10, 15, because this is a 0 or the beginning for counting minutes. So we have 15 minutes here, 2 hours and 15 minutes. So, okay, We can do the same bit of trickery as we did before. First, we pretend that this can move here, and then we are at noon. And from noon, we can count forward. From noon, we can count 1 hour, 2 hours, and then 2 hours plus 15 minutes. And now we need to add the other 15 minutes that we kept here in the back burner to add them up to the total. So if we have here 2 hours and 15 minutes plus 15 minutes, we have actually 2 hours and 30 minutes, or in other words, 2.5 hours. 2 hours and 30 minutes. We don't have 2.5 hours here, but we have 2 hours and 30 minutes, which is our answer. So let's check. Indeed, this is the answer. We are correct. Let's go to the next question. And again, we have 2 clock phases, and then we need to count probably elapsed time. Let's check what the problem says and how are we going to solve it. Nick and his family traveled by train to New York City. Well, that's an irrelevant piece of information. We don't need that. But here it's important to say that the clock show when the train left the station and when it arrived in New York City. How long, that's the question, how long was the train ride? Well, this is the departing point, and this is the arrival point. So let's see what time the train left the station. Well, the small hand of the clock, the hourly hand, the hour hand, points to 6. So therefore it's 6. And the minute hand points to 3, which is actually, if we count by the minutes, we start here at 0, say 5, 10, 15 minutes. So here is 6:15. And here is actually 10:30. So let's count by an hour after an hour and keep going till we get to 10:15, and then we add 15 more minutes. Okay, so let's say that this is 6:15, so 1 hour more will be 7:15, and then 1 hour more, 8:15, 9:15, and 10:15. We're gonna stop at 10:15 first, and then we're gonna add these 15 minutes more, okay? So again, I repeat, 6, we are starting here. So we say 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, and 4 hours. 1, 2, 3, and 4 hours. Okay? Of course, it's 4 hours when it points to the 15 minutes. Okay? 4 hours. But then we need to add these 15 minutes, this extra 15 minutes. So it's 4 hours plus 15 minutes. And we're going to look for our answers. And of course, you will find that only one answer makes sense. And here it is. Okay, I repeat, 1, 2, 3, and 4 hours. And then we add 15 more minutes from here to here. So it's 4 hours and 15 minutes. And that will be our answer. And we'll check. And that is correct, of course. Okay, well, let me remind you, if you're not careful enough, you don't pay attention, anybody can make a mistake. So it's just don't worry about it. If you made a mistake, try to correct your mistakes, try to pay attention, try to double check to get better every day, okay? Remember, make your good better and your better the best. Well, let's see this problem, problem 7. Cameron and his brother spent 90 minutes at the zoo. The table shows the stops they made. How much time did they spend at the activity center? That's the question. That's the quiz. How much time did they spend at the activity center? Well, the table tells us what they did. First, they went to the reptile house, and they spent 45 minutes there. Then they went to the gift shop, and they spent 20 more minutes. Again, this is a first degree equation. We have a mystery here that we need to find. So first, our strategy will be to add these two numbers, 45 plus 20, and then do a subtraction. So it's a two-step problem. So first, let's say 40 plus 20. I'm going to forget about these 5 minutes. I'm going to keep it for later, okay? So I'm going to say 40, 50, 60. That's 1 hour plus 5 minutes. 1 hour and 5 minutes, okay? So I have 1 hour and 5 minutes, and now I need to figure out how much I need to get to 90. So let's forget about that I said 1 hour and 5 minutes, and let's think it just in minutes, not in hours and minutes. 40, 50, 60, 65. 65 to 90. Well, 65 plus 5, that's 70. And then from there, from 70 to 90, 70, 80, 90, that's 20. So that's 20 plus 5, that's 25 minutes. So therefore, these needs to be 25 minutes. And let's find out if this works. If we put 25 minutes here and we add them up all together, probably we need to get 90 minutes. Well, let's see. 45 plus 25. 45 plus 5, that's 50. Then plus 20, 50, 60, 70. And plus 20, 70, 80, 90. And that's 90 minutes. So that makes perfect sense. So again, our answer needs to be, for theory, 25 minutes, which it is the right answer. And we'll see it again. 40 plus 20, that's 60, plus 5, 65, plus 25, that equals 90 minutes. So we are correct. We are right. Let's check it. Yes, indeed. Well, there you have it. This is a way to solve these kind of problems. I hope this was clear to you. And we're going to work on another lesson soon about using the number line to add and subtract time. Okay, thank you for watching. And remember that you're making me proud by doing all the effort to learn, and you're constructing your future. This is for you. I hope you take advantage of the time to work on these problems and learn a little bit more every day. Well, thank you. A bientôt. Ta-ta for now. Bye.